TRP National Motocross action is proudly brought to you by Out of Africa Group. Create, construct, growth. Swallow Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors. Welcome back to Bloemfontein Off-Road Club, just outside of Bloemfontein and alongside Tempe Airfield. What an awesome day's racing we've had so far, and this is part 2 of all the coverage in the 3rd round of the TRP National Motocross Championships. An incredible job being done by the club to get this track prepped to perfection. And we're getting ready to go now with massive growth in motocross in South Africa due to TRP and our national motocross sponsors getting involved and getting behind a sport that continues to grow. Big crowds coming out, and they're going to be entertaining in a big way as we kick things off now with the 65cc's. Neil van der Vyver holds the red plate coming into this round, but he's going to be pushed hard at the front end. There's a whole bunch of riders that are looking for their first victories of the season. And with the 15-second board changing to 5, those gates are about to drop. Let's see who can get the whole shot down towards Thor Corner as they head off on the Bridgestone Straight. Gates drop, it's a fantastic start, and look at how they all get together. Coming through a little bit of a problems in the background there. The 241 unfortunately stuck. Andrea Maynard didn't get the start he wanted. As they go down into turn 1 Thor Corner, it looks like it's Jordan van Wyk who might have hit the front. 747 going like a Boeing and looking for a chance to get the front, and he has. He goes side by side as they come out there with Van der Vyver and heading to 100%. Van der Vyver now into 2nd place. A great start there from Trey Cox. He's up in about 4th or 5th, moving up to 3rd already right now as they get up into the action and looking for some chances to overtake right from the word go. Liam Buerta got a great start too. There's the 17-man, and on his tail comes Jack Pullen. Pullen looking for a chance as they go through into this FMF section right now, and so close at the front end. The 37 of Trey Cox all over the back and looking for a way past early on. And he's up to 2nd place. That is an incredible drive and incredible ride so far from him as he came out of the gates. He has got Van der Vyver behind him. Then it's Liam Buerta. Look out for Peter Brink and Damon Garrell. But as they hit 7th heaven, 65 is going to take a little bit more strain over there. Not quite clearing the big jump, but clearing the first part of it, the step-up section, as they get across there. Now they go down here into the prep sol section, and this is very tricky for these small wheels. You can see the front runners just picking lines that are easy to run, but in the background, you have to keep an eye on guys that might just get caught out by the very, very tricky section that has been wet all day long. And despite the sun coming out now, you can see just how difficult it is for these youngsters. 125 up on the high side there, nice little run so far, and you can see Blade Tilley slowly but surely making his way into the top 10. But at the front end, it's Van der Vyver who dropped out slightly, making a small mistake on that first lap, now with some work to do to try and catch the top 2. Van Wyk and Cox are getting away at the front end. Nice run from Pullen. He is all over the back of the 169 of Thor Johnson. Thor Johnson and Pullen going at it, but this is the man they're all trying to catch, and the only man who really can stay with him at this stage is Cox. Trey Cox through FMF onto the back end of Jordan van Wyk. Nice little battle between the two of them, starting to heat up a bit. Moving up to 3rd now and getting rid of Liam Buerta and Brink is Van der Vyver. The Kufa Fuels Husqvarna man moving his way up into 3rd place as he comes into the attack now, trying to close down on Cox. Alfie Cox Racing KTM there in 2nd place behind the CIT man, and then it's Kufa Fuels Husqvarna in 3rd. Making their way through the back end of the field. You can see the little battle starting to rage as well as Garrell starts to close in on Peter Brink. Thor Johnson just behind them. Then it's Aidan Safi. We mentioned Blade Tilley earlier on, and he's just got ahead. Looks like of the 5-1 there as they come through. No, in fact, that's Aidan Henley a bit further back down. But still having a great run there in the 65s. Front end, it's all about Van Wyk. And he's just monstering that machine around. No worries at all. Hasn't put a wheel wrong at all as Jordan van Wyk, which is going to make it very difficult for both Liam Buerta on the 17 and possibly even the 18 bike of Neil van der Vyver to catch him. Further back, starting to make his way through as well. Oh, what a move. 729, Josh Williams diving on the inside and putting Pullen. A little bit of a block pass there on Jack Pullen. No answer from Pullen. Cox will have to be wary. Looking in the background, Van der Vyver is closing rapidly. You can see the battle continuing here between that 729 bike, as I said, Josh Williams and Pullen. But it is definitely closing up at the front end. And Cox is applying the pressure. Trying to keep it all together as well and make sure he stays ahead of Van der Vyver and Buerta, who are just behind him. Liam Buerta with a great run here in the closing stages. 227 comes through there. Peter Brink in the top 5, and then the rest of the top 10 still fighting for honours there in top 10. Jack Pullen now around the high line, not taking that inside line, trying different lines out there. Not always the best thing to do on a 65cc because that's what can go wrong. As you can see there with Emile Crusade. Emile Crusade just gets it all out of shape and comes back on. Very fortunate not to have any issues there, but Crusade is definitely in a bit of trouble. And you can see him having to come back onto the track, has lost him a lot of ground. Speaking of ground being lost, well, it looks like the 37 bike is being reeled in. Oh, he makes a mistake! Trey Cox makes a mistake that could be very costly. I was about to say Neil van der Vyver is not too far behind him, and we may even see van der Vyver come through here. Cox got up very quickly, got the bike started again, but there's van der Vyver, he's got through. So Neil van der Vyver up to second place now, and a good run there from him, but it's now, unfortunately, Trey Cox who's dropped down. In fact, he's dropped down to about 4th place, because it looks like Liam Butcher's got through on him as well. So it's going to be a dice to the line there between Van Wyk and van der Vyver, and Van Wyk hangs on. Trey Cox has got back through ahead of Liam Butcher, and will finish 3rd place. Confirmation of the overall results of the day. Jordan van Wyk taking the overall ahead of Trey Cox. Neil van der Vyver down in 3rd place. Liam Butcher and Peter Brink in 4 and 5, with Thor Johnson beating Damon Garrell, and Aidan Safi in 8th place. Nice pocket money and the overall victory there for Jordan van Wyk, and a super effort there from Trey Cox as well. Join us after the break for more action. Welcome back to BORC in Bloemfontein for round 3 of the South African Motocross Championships, proudly brought to you by TRP and all our associate sponsors. We're up for the big gunners now, 450s and the MX1 class. It is the premier category in the country, and the biggest prize purse in motocross comes out of this class. And there are a lot of riders that are looking for that money today. A big welcome return for Garrick Pretorius as he makes his way back up as well. But he's going to try and fight off 2 of the top contenders in this category. And that, of course, is Matty Milan. And look out for Lloyd Verquail. Also great to see Kevin Moran stepping up and Cam Undal making their way across here into MX1s. Tristan Purden will certainly be fired up, as will David Goosen. And they're all chasing down Matty Milan, your championship leader, coming into this round. Gates are loaded and ready to go now for heat number 1 of MX1s. Who's going to have what it takes to get that whole shot? See guys taking completely different lines. Verquail going right onto the high side and looking to cut across as the 5-second board disappears. Those gates are about to drop. Down the Bridgestone straight they go and into turn 1 at Thor. Is it going to be Milan who gets the whole shot? He's got the inside line. No, it is going to be David Goosen. Goosen goes through, he whole shots down into turn 1 and through Thor corner. He is side by side there. Verquail came around the outside of him and they're still side by side in the air. Verquail into 100%, giving 110% through there. And Matty Milan dives on the inside. Oh, he gets out of shape. Very lucky to save that one. Matty Milan was almost out the front door, but he managed just to hang on to it. He comes side by side with Verquail, and the 2 championship contenders go at it. 4th place is all about Tristan Purden, but it's David Goosen who's got the whole shot, and he's already starting to pull away as they go through FMF. Right behind that comes the battle between Milan and Verquail. Verquail on the inside. Tristan Purden diving on the inside, and a great start from Marco de Freya. De Freya right up there as well. Much better start than we've seen out of him all season long. Keep an eye out on Royce Griffin. He's a man who normally starts well, but didn't quite get the start he wanted here today. Coming up towards 7th heaven for the very first time, and these guys are going to be high-flying over this one. There's no doubt it. There they go. Up over the big one, and no worries at all with the big 450s. De Freya goes through there, and he's pushed hard by the looks of things by Royce Griffin, then Garrick Pretorius, Dylan Mostert, Kevin Moran bringing up the rear end of the field on the Kawasaki. As they come into Prepsol now, you can see the big 450s not worried about the wet patches that are there right now, and they go into out of Africa. This is a big step up. It nearly takes them out of Africa if you hit it hard enough. Here we go, big air time, scrubbing off that air as much as possible, trying to keep the bikes down and keep the pace of this field, and it's not easy to do. Look at Milan around the outside, high line from him, a little bit sideways, not quite the line he wanted, that's for sure. Trying to close down on Goosen, but watching all the time behind him for the attack coming from Lloyd Verquail, and on his tail, of course, look out for Tristan Purden. Purden is putting in a big effort here, and Verquail's team realize that. They are warning Verquail that he's coming. Tristan Purden is all over the back of Lloydie, and it looks like the Summit Racing man is going to have his hands full. Back of the field, it's Cam Woodendal versus that second gear Kawasaki of Kevin Moran. And Cam's having a fantastic day in the saddle as well. Nice to see him up in the big MX1 category. This is super stuff at the front though. Look at Milan closing down on Goosen. The two of them very evenly matched. Just getting a little bit of a roost gap there, so Milan doesn't have to eat too much dirt just yet. But here comes Purden. Oh, and Tristan Purden's on it. Up over 7th heaven. I'm going to see a change up for 3rd. I think we might. Yes, we will. Purden's through. Purden forces Verquail wide and tucks up on the inside. Block pass and makes it stick into 3rd. TP up into 3rd place now. Verquail into 4th. Oh, he touches him. Oh, that's a big one. Little back wheel and front wheel touch there, and Verquail goes down. Lloyd Verquail making a big mistake trying to hold that inside line and just tap the back end of Purden's bike, and it's cost him 2 or 3 positions. I think he's dropped down to about 6th place. Goosen hangs on. Purden, though, is the most dangerous bike out there. Fastest lap coming out of him on that last pass, and he's now all over the back of Milan. Heading into 100% now and up towards the final corner. Further back in this field, you can see that is the 141. That, of course, is Royce Griffin under attack from De Freya. Those are the 2 riders that got through on Lloyd Verquail, and Verquail trying to close them down. Goosen hanging on for now. Ah, this is brilliant stuff. As they come into FMF, it is the Red Bull KTM closing down on that Kufa Fuels Husqvarna. And it's the out of Africa Yamaha out front. So 3 manufacturers, 3 different riders, all great mates off the track, but arch rivals when you get into the dirty stuff. And that arch rivalry is going to continue for the rest of the season. This championship is not done yet, that is for sure. Into Twin Air they go right now. Heading towards 7th Heaven, and Goosen hangs on for now, but only just. It is so close between these top 3. And even in lap times now, Milan sideways over 7th Heaven. Justin Purdon just trying to keep it down as low as possible. Don't want to get too much air time and lose time in the air. Back towards out of Africa they come. And a high line there from Milan, high line from Purdon. Inside line coming out of Goosen. So different lines being attempted by these guys. De Vreya's got through, and he's got ahead of Griffin. So a bit of a change up there. The RPG, KTM under attack, and De Vreya has found a way past him. Didn't expect that one, but Marco De Vreya has turned his season around here in Bloemfontein. And you can see things starting to heat up at the front end now. Look at Tristan Purdon applying the pressure onto the side, and up almost at the inside there of Matty Milan. So close between the two of them. Husqvarna versus KTM. This time the Husky just hangs on. But around the outside, heading to 100%, we might see a change-up. Matty Milan is closing down on Goosen. Goosen is the man to be very concerned about the pace of the 2 riders coming from the back of him. And he's going to be very concerned about it because they have closed up rapidly. Goosen could be in trouble here. And I think there's a possibility the fastest man on track, Tristan Purdon, could outgun both of these riders in front of him. Matty Milan just trying to hang on. For Quell taking a bit of strain there. Maybe that's a little bit of an injury that's come up there. I think his hand might be sore. Maybe he hurt his hand on that crash. We'll wait and see. And it looks like he's taking that right hand off every single time they hit the big jump so he can get a little bit of respite. There you can see, unfortunately, a little bit of a drop back there for the 141 of Griffin. Didn't expect that. Then further back on that one, you got Garrick Pretorius fighting there with Dylan Mostert. And Mostert, he was right up there initially, but he's lost a little bit of ground. The 2 Hondas at the back of the field continuing a little bit of in-house HRC battle. Purdon, though, he's up for this fight. Purdon, I think, is the most dangerous man on track right now, and those 2 in front are going to be very concerned. It is so tight between these 3 now. Look how tight it is that they get up over 100%. And Milan goes for the lead. For the first time, he's going to try and put Goosen between himself and Tristan Purdon. That might not be a bad strategy. Purdon's got through, though. Purdon didn't ask what's... No, he hasn't. It looked like it. I just didn't see on the inside there. Goosen was on the inside line, but he's right there with Goosen now. 2 of them so close. Coming up in some back markers. This could help Purdon out. In fact, it doesn't worry about the back markers. He's got through on him on his own. He found a way past. Goosen has gone to 3rd. The back markers are certainly going to help Purdon, though, on his attack on Milan. And he comes right up alongside Milan. Goes around the high side of out of Africa. Looking for a chance now. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. The 2 of them. Oh, look at that. Matty Milan looking straight back into the eyes of Purdon and loses out. Purdon has got through. So Tristan Purdon now heading towards the final stage of this race. Looks like he might just be opening up a bit of a margin. He wants to get away from Matty Milan. Milan doesn't want to let him get away. Look at this. Slow motion stuff here, as that's the gap between Tristan Purdon and just over the jump there, Matty Milan. In the background, it's Goosen. Goosen still wants a chance to possibly spoil the day there for Milan and just bring that championship a bit closer between the 2 riders and their arch rivals. Tear-offs flying now as the mud starts to become a factor. You can see visibility is going to be a big concern here for the last part of the race. Purdon's got it, though, as he heads down the 100% straight for the last time. You can see him shaking his head. He knows he's got it. He's worked hard for it. And it's a well-deserved victory there for Tristan Purdon on the Red Bull KTM. Taking the first heat victory there. Purdon on the Red Bull KTM ahead of Matty Milan on the Kufa Fuels Husqvarna. It's Out of Africa Racing's Yamaha of David Goosen in 3rd. Summit Racing, Lloyd Verquel in 4th. De Vreya, Griffin, Pretorius and Dylan Mostert in 8th place on the Smoky Pistons Honda. Let's head down to the Out of Africa Yamaha pit now and catch up with Guy Henley, the team principal, to find out why Out of Africa have got involved here with the sport of motocross.
You know, I got a lot out of it myself when I rode, and for me to give back to guys, to give them an opportunity to do well, is a pleasure, absolute pleasure, and a passion from my side.
People that are passionate about the sport definitely make it grow, and it's so good to have them on board now as the 15-second board is about to turn into 5, and we stand by for our high school class first heat. Out the gates they go, and in towards Thor Corner. Who's going to have what it takes there? Cam Deroe is back in the house, and it looks like he's got the whole shot. But remember, he has had surgery to his shoulder, so we're going to have to watch out for that and see if he's able to keep it all together for the entire heat. He's already being pressurized there, you can see by the 783 of Ethan Hoffman, and just behind him comes the 151 of Fenton. Now that is the championship leader, and he'll be looking to consolidate here and stay behind Cam Deroe. He doesn't have to beat him, because remember, Cam has missed 1 round. So he's got to just stay as close as he can to that Reef Supplies KTM. Hard on the brakes though, and Ethan Hoffman goes around the outside of Dalton Fenter, looking for a way to get that little Yamaha of his a bit higher up than what it started at, as they get up into FMF and heading through Gurney now. Looks like it's a sideways side, and 2 by 2 they go out of that Gurney turn. It's a super start here from Fenter as he starts to get away now from Hoffman. Anu Simon starting to come into the mix as well. Watch out for him. And Calvin Jean-Jacques with a fantastic start, as we saw at the previous round, looking like a man who could potentially be a front runner all season long. Right now it's Hoffman. Behind him it is Jean-Jacques, and Jean-Jacques now being closed down, in fact has been closed down and passed by Anu Simon. Behind that you've got Tristan Granger, the man from Zimbabwe on the Granger Racing KTM, having a super run, looking for a chance to get a little bit higher up than what he is right now, but not quite on the same kind of pace we saw at the last round, which took him onto the podium. Further down the field, they come through thick and fast, and as they come through there, Christian Saliers has had a good start as well on the 39. Just behind that, 777 Callan Broski, who's gone down there as well on the Ridgeway. No, it's not Callan Broski who went down, he went round him. It's the 39 who went down there, and that's Christian Saliers. So Saliers crashing out all on his own, as we saw the 777 of Callan Broski going around the outside of him. 75 now starting to come into play, and as I said, Calvin Jean-Jacques is a man to watch out for. He certainly found some great pace at the previous round, now looking to capitalize on it and make it work here in round 3. Slowly but surely though, you see Dalton Fenter reeling in Cam Deroe. Deroe, I think, might just be able to hang on though. The 125 is going to be a lot easier to ride than the 250, but he's still going to do all the hard work out there, and it's not easy work to do when you've got such an awesome track that's starting to rut up now. That shoulder is definitely going to be a concern. Fenter will know about it. He's going to hang on for now and just pressurize, see if he can get a mistake out of Cam Deroe. Second place will be good enough for him to keep that red plate. Remember, he'd love the win. More points in the bag you can get, the better. Further back there, Ethan Hoffman now coming side by side and fighting with Thabo Verster. Nice little two-way battle there. Rikus Carstens just behind that. Then you've got Nathan Mabry, Brees Romans at the back, Sean Mumba, and Asandim Chunu. So even the guys that are looking to go to battle a bit later on in the season for the MX of African Nations up in Zimbabwe, they're here getting in some great lap times. How's that shot? Absolutely pancake style from Cam Deroe as he heads up over that big jump. Brilliant stuff from him. Doesn't look like the shoulder's worried there. We might start to feel the effects a bit later on in this race. Travis Goosen also having a good run now, starting to make his way up into the top 10. I think he's up to 7th place there, so not a bad run there from Goosen as he starts to get into the mix there with Granger and Verster. Top 2 though, getting away. And as I said, I think the CIT Husqvarna is going to settle for 2nd place. Doesn't look like there's going to be much of an issue there. Here comes an issue though. 783 under pressure. Anu Simon around the outside of Hoffman. Hoffman and Simon absolutely side by side as they come through the bottom Thor corner. Not quite on the same kind of pace as Calvin Jean-Jacques. Then you've got Goosen coming through, looking very good as well. Behind him, it's the 18 bike of Rikus Carstens. Nice field of 125s yet coming to the checkered flag, but Cam Deroe has been able to hang on. And incredibly, with that surgery, it hasn't affected him too badly. See what happens by the end of the day, though. And across the line in 2nd place comes Dalton Fenter, which should keep the red plate on board the CIT Husqvarna. So there's confirmation of the overall results for 125s. It's Dalton Fenter who takes the win ahead of Cam Deroe on the TRP Reef Tankers Alfie Cox KTM. Anu Simon in 3rd ahead of Jean-Jacques and Hoffman, but let's catch up with Cam Deroe, our Heat 1 winner.
Yeah, my 125 race, just got the whole shot, got out front and just rode smooth. And yeah, I just tried to stay out front and stay smooth the whole race so I didn't get arm pump or get tired. Thanks.
Welcome back to BORC in Bloemfontein for round 3 of the TRP National Motocross Championships. And it's heat number 2 now of MX1s that we're standing by for. But on the sideline, you can see the crowds have come out in a big way, and they've had some fun, whether it's been on their little pit bikes in the pits, or whether they've been watching all the big action that happens out on the big stuff. The dirty stuff here has been prepped to perfection, and everybody ready to go, including Kieran Fitzgerald, who will be joining us here for the 2nd heat of MX1s. Matty Milan will definitely look to take the victory again and see if he can stay ahead of the hard-charging Lloyd Verquel. But it's David Goosen who got the whole shot and led for almost the entire race. Can he do it again? And this time capitalize it into a win? Or is it going to be this man to take a double on the day? It's Tristan Purden finding some incredible pace in race 1. 15-second board changes to 5. Gates are about to drop. Stand by for some big action in the 450s. Gates drop, and it's Kieran Fitzgerald out the gates nicely. He goes side by side with Matty Milan down into turn 1. Milan this time whole shots. On his inside, though, it was David Goosen who just squeezed him out and gets up into 2nd, beating Kieran Fitzgerald to that first turn. Fitzgerald just behind there, and it's Matty Malone who's got through to third place. Faquel comes around the outside, so does Tristan Purdon. The two Red Bull KTMs almost side by side as they go up towards the finish jump now for the first time to complete the first loop of this track. Faquel was side by side there with Matty Malone by the looks of things as they came through. No, Malone has just opened up a small margin. It's Goosen up into second place now. I think he was side by side with Purdon, just picking up on that black jersey there. I think that was Tristan Purdon and Faquel coming almost identically into the motel section. Coming towards seventh heaven now. Here comes a big, nearly a touch in the air there. 21 and 41, back wheels almost touching. And just behind that, Kieran Fitzgerald with the best seat in the house. Royce Griffin followed very closely there by Marco de Freya. So expect another battle between the two of them. Look at how this Prepsol section has really rutted up now. And it's going to test the will and the abilities of these riders and bikes. That is for sure. De Freya on the back end of Griffin, trying to find a way through early on. He goes on that inside line, nearly makes it stick as they get up into the Out of Africa step up. Getting back down to the bottom section of the circuit. And a bit of aerial material here from our riders. You can see them coming through here. And it's fantastic action that we've seen all day long. Watch out though for second place. It's David Goosen now looking for a way through, and Tristan Purdon going to try and run with him. Those two going to fight out for second and third place, trying to close down on Matty Malone. Further back from that, it's Kieran Fitzgerald, De Freya, Griffin, Deploy, and Garrick Pretorius on the Ridgeway bike. As they come flying down here, look at this, absolutely nothing in it between these guys. And they're just giving each other a little bit of breathing room, just for a bit of roost gap. They don't want to get just roosted with all that dirt that's coming off the track and get visibility become a problem later on in this heat. 21 is Goosen, and he is definitely fired up for this one. He didn't quite get the whole shot, so he's got to work from second and third place now to get back to the front. In the first heat, of course, remember, he led things out and almost led to the finish. Now, can he do the same thing and close down on Faquel? Faquel getting away, trying to close down on Malone. That's second and third. Behind that, it's Purdon coming along, and along for the ride comes Fitzgerald. Two Red Bull KTMs trying to close down on the Yamaha man. In fact, the Yamaha men. So we got Husqvarna. Yamaha, KTM. That's how they come flying through. De Freya now just ahead of Griffin. Griffin being closed down as well as they come through here. Look at this, Matty Malone though, large and in charge. And this is the kind of pace we expect to see from Malone when he's in this kind of a mood. He's getting away from the front end, and that's exactly how we see his strategy in racing. He literally likes to lead from the front and open up a bit of a commanding lead that he can manage and hopefully keep it all together for the amount of time that's required. Remember, it's 25 minutes plus a lap we've got to do in these heats. A lot longer than we've done in the past. And Purdon now closing on the back end of Goosen for third. 21 and 31, ex-teammates, remember, and now big arch rivals. De Freya, he's hanging on for now for a good top 5 finish, possibly overall. And he's fought off the challenges coming out of Wes Deploy. Good run there from Wes Deploy in the second heat, that's for sure. Ahead of Garrick Pretorius and Kevin Moran on the second gear Kawasaki. What's happening here? Oh, it's Purdon who's closing on the back end of Goosen. Goosen's actually closed onto the back end of Faquel. So there's a good possibility we've got a three-way dice closing down on Malone. Now they come down that motel whoop section. That's Faquel in second. We just saw Malone go through shot. Here comes third place Purdon. Where's Goosen? Goosen's gone missing. He didn't come through shot there, so he must have made a small mistake somewhere. And I think David Goosen might be paying big time for that. Let's see whether or not he's able to pick it up. Kieran Fitzgerald just behind him, so Fitzgerald will see a little bit of blood in the water. It's got a bit of a blue tinge to it. He'll be looking to catch that blue-blooded on Yamaha out front. De Freya maintaining a nice gap there between himself and Griffin. Malone's gone down. There's no peak on his helmet. That's allowed a big opportunity there for Faquel. Faquel has come through as Malone goes down somewhere on track. We just missed that crash, but Matty Malone has definitely gone down. Look, there's no peak on that Fox helmet, and that is a big concern. Whether or not that bike has got damage, we'll wait and see. But if they do get the pit boards out, these guys are going to get a little bit of indication that Malone has gone down and they need to turn the wick up. Wes Deploy makes a small mistake coming into the fly section. Just corrects it and gets going again. But he's just getting cross-rutted there. Those ruts are very deep through that section. I think that's what might have happened there with Matty Malone. He might have just got cross-rutted in one of the sections and went down all on his own. He's now being closed down by Purdon. Tristan Purdon closing in on second place and looking for a chance to make that second place his. With the checkered flag waiting, looks like Goosen is also on a bit of a charge. Look in the background. You just saw David Goosen coming rapidly in the background. So there could be a change up for second and third place as well, and third and fourth. Faquel is going to take the win. Purdon is going to come through for second, and David Goosen incredibly has got up to third place. What a run there in the final stages from David Goosen, nearly catching Tristan Purdon. It's Matty Malone who drops down to fourth place though in the overall results there, as you can see for Heat 2. Kieran Fitzgerald behind him and Marco de Freya beating Griffin and Wes Deploy to the line. But it's Lloyd Faquel to take the second heat, and let's catch up with him down in the pit lane.
You know, I broke my finger in the first heat, so I wasn't actually quite sure how it was going to go, but I just had to dig deep. I managed to get a good start behind Maddie and just settled into a good pace following him. I knew I had good strength to last the whole moto. And then he made a mistake. He tipped over in a turn, and I got in front of him and he was behind me, and I managed to then open up a big gap, and I just controlled it from there. You know, I just watched where the guys were. I didn't want to do anything stupid. You know, I was battling to hold on as it was. I'm very happy to come away with the win in the second heat and gain some points in the championship.
It's the first overall victory for the Red Bull KTM team and Tristan Purdon in this round too, and he looks forward to the next round.
I'm just so happy to get the overall first one for my new team, Red Bull KTM, and things are coming together slowly. Still got some hard work to put in for the next one, and just some training to do.
And the next round is at Dirt Bronco on the 6th of July for TRP National Motocross. We'll see you there. The TRP National Motocross action is proudly brought to you by Out of Africa Group. Create, construct, growth. Chinswalo Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors.